welcome to Lyme Regis. This is my town and this is my beautiful bike. So, I mean, it's not that's the town there. This is a field, but there you are, the famous Cobb of Lyme Regis. So I just wanted to show you guys the bike. This is the new beast that's going to be taking me through Africa, about 7,000 to 8,000 miles, probably more like 8, maybe more by the time I get there. I tend to go lost quite a lot. It's quite a regular occurrence for me. So this is my beautiful bike. Unfortunately, on my last trip, my bike was stolen, which I loved. It was part of, you know, it was more than a bike. But I had a replacement through the insurance, and to be fair, it was a list of bikes I didn't really want. This was the best choice of the lot, and I didn't like it when it came, but I'm quite liking it now. Every week that goes by and I do little bits to it, and yeah man, I think I'm quite liking it. So I'm quite looking forward to riding through Africa on this little baby. And yeah, I just wanted to take you through the bike, see what we've got, see what's happened to her. So this is a Cube Cross 2018, and let's see what we've done. So first of all, let's start with the tyres. I've got the old Schwalbe Marathon Plus Tour tyres. They've got good puncture protection. There's like a blue band inside of here that's quite a thick band, and yeah, I mean, I didn't get a puncture on my last trip until I'd ridden 5,000 miles, and that wasn't actually through something penetrating the tyre. I actually went over some very rough ground. I was going through the Wakam Valley, and it was really rough terrain, and a very sharp flint went through the side. So that's not necessarily a regular, you know, type of puncture, or certainly not a regular type of puncture. So had I not had that, they maybe would have gone on another few thousand miles till I got a first proper legitimate puncture. Anyway, so that's the Schwalbe Marathon Plus Tour. Did 14,000 miles on these tyres when I rode on my last trip before I needed to change them, and they were still going. It's just I got to Mexico City and I had tyre replacements, so I put them on, and they were pretty knackered. So that's the tyres. Tried and tested. They're a hybrid, so they've got little rolling resistance, but you've got a bit of knobble there if you need to get a bit of grip on some dirt tracks. So tyres done. Next thing, gears. We've got 30 gears. I don't know a lot about gears. I mean, what I will say is 3 chain rings on the front, 10 on the back. It's 30 gears. And I mean, on my last trip again, I replaced my drive chain, the chain, the crank with the 3 chain rings and the rear cassette at least 3 times last time. So in a sense, is it worth getting the best drivetrain out there with the usage you're going to use? Probably not. So you know, an average medium sort of quality will be fine. And there you go, 30 gears, wonderful. Woo! 3 more than I had on my last bike, so that should be a bit easier going uphill. I have to admit defeat, I'm afraid, with the gay mud flaps, because I don't like them. I don't like them. I think I'm coming round a little bit to the shape of the front one. The back one I'm off completely, but they are useful. On my last trip again, I didn't have mud flaps. I had a little thing on the front, just a bit of plastic that went through there that was quite short, but it did the trick on the front. But the back was a nightmare. I actually had a little bit of lino that I'd cut out of a little bit of excess floor lino for the kitchen, and I'd put it in that part of my rack in the hope that it would stop the splash. But it was coming everywhere. I was getting covered. All of my bags, it was flicking up round the back and covering all the bags and the tent, and I was getting wet and my legs were getting wet. So I've gone for the mud flap. I don't like it, but there you go. It's going to be useful when it's pouring down with rain and I'm staying relatively dry. I'm going to be glad I put it on there. So that is an extra that I don't like, but I know is going to be useful. So let's go to the handlebars now. Now I replaced the handlebars. They had just flat bars before, so I've gone for the 70mm rise bar. And that way you're giving yourself a higher stance, your back can be a bit straighter, and it's going to be more comfortable over distance, I'm sure. I mean, that's the theory. I don't know any of this stuff for real, but I'm just guessing so it sounds logical, doesn't it? So we're going with that. Ergonomic grips, well, they were on there already. I did have plans that I'd get these wonderful new grips, but I just haven't got the money, so I've used those again. This handlebars, they were a gift, bar ends rather, gift from my brother and his girlfriend for Christmas. So, you know, I've got to use them, haven't I? No, actually they're really handy. So they flip 360 degrees that way, and also you can rotate them that way as well. So they're very versatile, and no doubt you'll see these change over the course of the trip, because at the minute that's like set for flat, lean back, cruising. But when you go up a hill, these are really in the way, so I have to bend them round, and I'll adjust them as I go. So that's the handlebars and the grips and the bar ends. We've got this wonderful 360 degree and extended GoPro bracket. I had the last bike, I had the bracket, was just a bracket, camera was about there, so I don't know if you can see that, sorry. Camera was about there, so I just found I was getting a lot of road noise from the road, funnily enough, and you could hear it a lot on the camera, and you couldn't really hear me as well. So I've brought that up so it's closer to my mouth, which is great for me. And we've also got the rotating 360 degree bracket, which last time I would have to be going along, no hands, undo that, take the camera off, flip it around, screw it back in. So this is going to be a lot easier, a lot safer to use. So that's cool. And plus I dropped the camera a few times, you know, riding along, stumbled with it, jittered, and it went on the floor. So just better all round, really. So we've got a light for the front, which I've just got. That came yesterday. That is a Cat-Eye Volt 800, and it's USB rechargeable. My last trip, I didn't really have any proper lights on my last trip, and there were many tunnels that, well, I was in pitch black, and it was dangerous. It wasn't a clever idea. I'm an idiot, but that's how it was. So I've got a proper light this time, and yeah, that's cool. And it's USB rechargeable, so there's no excuse, obviously, you know, for me not to find batteries, because I can just power it up off my power bank. So that is the front end pretty much. Disc brakes all round, always go for disc brakes. I've got a little pump there. My tyres, unfortunately these wheels aren't quite as good as my last bike. They're a cheaper wheel, they've got a Schrader valve, so that's like your normal car tyre. In one respect it's better, because I'll be able to use virtually anywhere that's got air in Africa. They're going to be set up for cars, aren't they, not bicycles? So I'm going to be pretty good to pump my tyres up, I would say. But, you know, if you've got a press the valve, you just get an attachment anyway, so that doesn't make any difference, really. So, oh, there she goes. Whee! She's had enough. She's had enough, the old girl. We'll just prop you back up, darling. Prop you back up quickly. We've just got a little bit more to do, and then we'll go, all right? No, I don't like it now. Right, that's it. Don't fall. Right, okay, are you still recording? Yes, okay. And we'll just go back into it, just cut it. So yeah, this is the beauty. So, got the pump for the tyres. It probably won't stay there. I'm not sure if I'm going to have water bottles on here. I might. I think you can get them underneath as well, but you need a strap for that. But the only problem with having water bottles on the bike frame is that when you're in the desert and you really need to store lots and lots of water, hence having the extra provision for water bottles, it's all exposed, isn't it? So they're going to get very warm. I mean, warm water is better than no water, but I've previously put them in my pannier bags that are attached to the rack, obviously, and they seem to keep quite cool. So I'll probably do that, but I don't know. I might have water bottles, but probably that that pump will move. So pedals, I will quickly say I will probably get myself some pedals, because I went through 4 sets of pedals on the last trip and they were all just cheap crappy pedals really. So, well, actually no, the first set were SPDs that were good quality, but they just broke because I don't really know what I'm doing, and I think I'm a bit heavy-handed with stuff, so I broke those. And I did 3 subsequent pairs of pedals that were just cheap pedals. So I'm going to get myself some decent pedals. Hopefully they will then last me for the trip. It was one point on my last trip that I was just going up a mountain. All the bearings were gone in my pedals and it was squeaking all day, every pedal, every mile, every moment. And it was bloody annoying for about 3 days. So we want to avoid that. But stuff like that sometimes is unavoidable, because you're in the middle of nowhere and the bearings fall out and it is what it is. So, and next to the saddle. So this is the Brooks. Well, it's leather and it's based on the B17, which is probably the most famous touring saddle for touring cyclists. But this one's sprung. You can see the springs on the back. So it's not called the B17, but it's, oh, there you go. It's the Flyer. That's what it says there. It's the Brooks Flyer. So it's the B17 that has springs on the back. But this one is a little bit different. It's called the Old Style Flyer, something like that. And it basically, it's been broken in slightly. So this has been made to be more supple, and it's been treated. If you get the B17, just the standard one, the leather is harder, so it's going to take a bit longer to break in, probably hurt your ass a bit longer, and you got to treat it as you go. So I'm quite excited to use this saddle. I've had the I had the C17 carved before the synthetic saddle, which was good, and it proved to be, over the course of 403 days on the road, it proved to be really comfortable. But it did start breaking within a week, and all of these bits came out, and one of the metal supports underneath sheared off completely. It caused problems. I managed to bodge it back together, and we completed it all. But it was good. I liked it, but I'm actually more excited. I'm thinking this one's going to be a bit better. So yeah, can't wait to see what that's like. And what else? The pannier rack. Now, it's the last thing I'm going to mention today, apart from the rear light that I haven't got yet, but I will get that soon. I think that's about the only thing, and probably some pedals. That's the only things left to get. But the rack, now I must stress to everybody, please get a good rack, because on my last trip, again, sorry to keep referring to the last trip, but it's quite an important point of reference for me on for this one. And yeah, I had 10, what's going on here? Auto exposure, still going. It's all right. Sorry, this is a new camera. I don't quite know what I'm doing. So yeah, I spent £10 on a rack, and it was the bane of my ride across Europe. And when I was in Bulgaria, and it was just falling apart, and it was going into the wheel, and the bags were clipping the wheel and catching the spokes and locking the rear wheel up, and it was all lopsided and looked shit, and it was a nightmare. So I got another one when I was in Bulgaria, got another one, had to modify that one when I was in Tajikistan with some oven racks on the side just to support it a bit better. That actually lasted me to China. Then I got another one in China. I might have even got another one after that. So I went through a lot of racks, and I would just say get a decent rack to start off, because it's just a stress you don't need, you know, your rack falling apart. It's hard enough riding, let alone, you know, trying to sort out your dodgy gear. So get the good gear and it'll last you, I think, is the right advice. It's not always what I do, but that is the right advice. So this is 70 quid. It's a tubeless. You've got a lower centre of gravity with this. So you can see here, this bar is what holds the where the pannier bags clip onto, whereas on most racks you're on this higher level and it clip onto that part. So lower centre of gravity, more stable, should take a bit of the strain off of it as well, I would guess. So yeah, I'm happy with it. It feels sturdy, but I've not tried it yet. There you go, look, it's the Tubus, says Tubus there. and that is all it says. So yeah, that is it. This is my beautiful bike. It's a large, oh, I will just quickly mention, it's got this sticker on it. It's a Cube Cross Hybrid 2018 model, and they've got these ratings on the bikes that are 1 to 5. Now 1 being the tamest and 5 being the most extreme. So they've rated my bike as a 2, which does not sound very well, quite sufficient for what I'm gonna be doing with it. But to be honest, I think most modern bikes now, you know, it's just a frame really and lots of components. So the components can change, but the frames I think probably are all quite similar. So I've not gone for steel. My last one was Ali, I suppose, carbon. I don't know what they're made out of, but it's lighter material than the steel. And of course they do say that it's not going to hold the weight and it will bend, but my last one was fine. So, and the only guy that did have a broken frame was a bloke with a steel frame. So you know, I think it can happen to any bike and to anybody, anytime. Yeah, anyway, I'll cut that bit out because that was shit. So this is it. This is my Cube 2018. It's a hybrid, and it's going to take me across Africa, and I think I love it. I really do. I'm really starting to love this bike. So you know, I'm sure that could change after a few days on the road and a sore ass and sore body, but at the minute, woohoo, I'm quite excited. So that's it. That's the bike. Lime Regis, mwah. We're leaving you again soon, but of course we'll be back. This place is beautiful, man. That is the thing. You go across the world. Shame, because across there behind this bush here, you can see the Golden Cap, and you've got the spectacular view of the Jurassic Coast. But yeah, man, I tell you what, you can travel all over the world, but this place here, it's beautiful. It's not doing it justice. I'm going to stop filming, but trust me, this is lovely. So I love coming home. But yeah, we're off again very soon. 4 weeks is the countdown, and we'll be off on another amazing adventure, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. So thank you, everybody. Mwah. Thanks for watching my blog, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, just have a good time following me along the way, and I'll try to have a good time with you all and keep the blog posts updated as regularly as I can. I'm a bit crap with that sort of stuff, but I'll try my hardest. So excellent, thank you, and welcome to the mighty 2018 Cairo to Cape Town tour on this sexy beast that is my new bike. Woohoo! Right, that's it. We're out of here. Take it easy.